So lots and lots of clinical trials went into this. But again, this was all just a theory. The theory was that these plaque formation caused by A beta lead to this. And as the science writer writes, he goes, hundreds of clinical trials of amyloid targeted therapies yielded few glimmers of promise. It wasn't really working. Only the overwhelming Aduhelm had gained FDA approval. So there was only one drug that came out of all this work. Yet A beta still dominates research on drug development. NIH spent $1.6 billion on projects that mention amyloids in this fiscal year. So if you simply put amyloid and you were a researcher, you got funded. About half of its overall Alzheimer's funding. So out of the $3.2 billion, $3 billion, more than half of it went to the theory of A beta. Scientists who advanced other potential Alzheimer's causes, such as immune dysfunction or inflammation, complain they've been sidelined by the amyloid mafia. I call it the Alzheimer's academic mafia, but pretty close. So this is what was going on. So this one researcher says the amyloid hypothesis became the scientific equivalent of the Ptolemaic model of the solar system, which the sun and planets rotate around the earth. Remember, a lot of people said the sun rotates around the earth. So all of this research was based on amyloid. But people are finding only one drug came out of this, and people were starting to question this. And by 2006, so between 1991 and 2006, a lot of money went into this. By 2006, this was on the centenary, the anniversary centenary of the discovery of the epic discovery of Alzheimer's. A growing cadre, he says, of skeptics wondered aloud whether the field needed a reset. Then a breathtaking Nature paper entered the breach. So think about this. The hypothesis was amyloid deposits starting in 1984 are the reason that you get Alzheimer's. So write that down. Amyloid deposits, which lead to these plaques. So 1984, billions of dollars research go into this. But guess what? They're not finding any drugs. None of them work. And it's just a hypothesis. So the field was in complete disarray by 2006, which was the anniversary of the discovery of Alzheimer's by Alois Alzheimer's. And then boom, in 2006, guess what happens? This paper comes out, paper which I shared earlier. This paper comes out and says, we have the discovery essentially of the century, which says we have discovered the way that the amyloid protein assembly, there's something that comes before the amyloid protein called an oligomer, Ligomer. It's like the things that the bricks are composed of, the amyloid protein. They're the precursor. And we have proof that this actually impairs memory. And that was what this paper was. This paper was saying that they had found this very specific A beta 56, and I'll get to that, very specific oligomer, which is part of the amyloid beta protein assembly. And they had injected this in mice and they had shown cognitive decline. No one had ever shown that before. So 2006 was an important year because this paper, and by the way, this is a very prestigious journal, Nature. 2006, Lesney and Ash published this paper saying they had made the major breakthrough showing that they had found the precursor to the amyloid protein. They'd injected into mice, I think mice rats, and it showed cognitive decline when this protein came in. Everyone following me? Good. So again, it's a lot of stuff to take in, but that's what occurred. Lesney was the guy who showed that. And when he published this paper, he submitted these things called Western blots. I'll do a whole session on Western blots. But Western blots is an imaging technique that's used in biology to show how much of a protein is present. And so this guy, Lesney, said that he had found the A beta star 56 oligomer, and he presented this image right here. And he said this band right here represented A beta 56 bands, which showed that this protein, when it was put into mice, would cause cognitive decline. Guess what? Schrag discovered on an open website called PubPeer, people are already complaining about Lesney's previous images that he had loaded up there on other work. And he tracked that and he found out there were the same similar problems with the images that he had used in that 2006 paper. Now remember, this is all occurring in 2021, 15 years later, because he was hired as an expert witness. So in 2021, Schrag finds out that these images have been doctored. Let me explain that. He finds out these images likely, put the word likely, and the reason the PubPeer guy showed that the images don't look real, they were photoshopped, but you only conclusively prove it if you had the original images. But they clearly know that these images are not real based on the image artifacts. And this has been confirmed multiple times now. So the paper that was submitted in 2006, and by the way, as I speak, you can notice that Nature has put this commentary just a week ago on the paper, which says, editor's note, the editors of Nature have been alerted to concerns regarding some of the figures in this paper. Nature is investigating these concerns, and a further editorial response will follow as soon as possible. In the meantime, readers are advised to use caution when using results reported herein. This is 2022. This paper was published in 2006, everyone. So it took Nature, the editor, 16 years. Meanwhile, that paper was cited 2,300 times, 2,300 times. And because of that paper, this lab, I believe, got about $20 million. Lesney started his own lab at the same university, got another probably $5 to $7 million. And then $250 million to billions of dollars poured into the field because of this research. And we're going to talk about why that took place, why the delay. So there you go.